Hello everyone, welcome to Food for Thought, where I don't cook from a book. Today we will be making some of our childhood recipes that we remember from our youth, and I'll be joined today with Jennifer Cruz.
Hello.
And we will be making a breakfast, a lunch, and a dessert.
Yay!
And I hope you enjoy what we have to cook today. Okay, Jennifer, why don't you tell me about the breakfast that you remember from growing up?
Okay, so when I was a child, I used to always make a dish called egg in a hole in a bread, and I loved the way that it sounded, egg in a hole in a bread. I thought that was really kind of funny.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, egg in a hole in a bread.
Right.
And so it's pretty easy. Maybe you've made it before at home. I'm hoping if you haven't, this is something new that you could do with your children, which is really interesting and easy. So what you need is you just need some slices of bread, some butter, some eggs, some cheese. But the most fun about the whole thing is actually cutting the hole in the egg in a hole in the bread.
Oh, okay.
So what you want is you want to take, it could be anything, it could be a glass, it could be a cup, anything that has a decent sized circle.
Right.
And you would take a slice of bread, and I'm
Right on the
gluten-free, so I actually use gluten-free bread. And, oh, thank you. That's great. So you would take the bottom of your glass or the bottom of your cup, and you would push hard on it and this is really fun for kids to do, and push hard on it to get that hole, and comes out like this. Well, this one kind of broke a little bit, which is sort of a bummer. But, so you can use like a regular glass as well, but it actually cuts out.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. I see what you mean.
So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to
really?
have you do this, yes, with these two
All right.
pieces.
I have to do stuff?
You have to do stuff, yeah. While I get started,
Okay.
and I'm going to go ahead and just put some butter in a frying pan.
All right. Plates.
Turn the heat on here. Yeah. And I don't know if there's, this may not be something that cuts real well. I don't know if you have a glass
Right. I have a
or
glass
something.
one,
Oh yeah, that would be great to do a glass.
but the bottom's not,
Might be too big.
it's too smooth.
Right. Yeah, or you know what? Try these. I wonder if that would that kind of cut it?
Yeah, it will. It's
Yeah,
just,
there you
I'm not
go.
gonna have bread in my pepper now.
No, you won't. You won't have bread in your pepper. So then you just put some butter in a frying pan.
Right. Yeah, that worked out a lot better.
Okay, great. Great.
Still broke the bread though.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because it's gluten-free bread.
Yeah, it's the size of it actually. If it was like a 1/4 inch wider right here, then it's the fact that it's coming together like the way it is.
Okay. Yeah, so probably Chris John brings up a really good point. Probably the larger the bread piece that you have, the easier and the better. This is all that I had for today. But so again, butter in the frying pan.
Yay! So this is the fun part.
Yeah, it is the fun part. So I just wanted to show here. So see how you actually cut out these circles? So you could actually cut out these circles and you cut them out of the bread. And we're going to fry up those as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is kind of nice.
That sounds good.
Yeah. All right.
Put them in a cup.
Let's get this. Oh, okay. That's great. Get this a little bit hotter. You want the frying pan to be, fairly hot.
Okay. Is it
So-
is it medium high that you're putting it on?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say so. So then the first thing that you do is you take your pieces of bread and you put them in the frying pan. We'll just do 2 for right now.
Okay.
So as you can see, we've got the bread with the holes in it.
Right.
And so now we need egg in a hole in the bread.
Right.
So we're going to need a couple eggs.
Right.
And then while you're doing that, so I also take these extra bread pieces that we cut out, and I like to fry these up as well. And so I'll just put those in the butter also.
Okay.
It seems like It's taking a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Maybe we should put it to high.
No, it's just takes I don't know, however many minutes to really heat up.
Okay.
And once it does get hot, it says it's cast iron. It's going to be really hot.
Okay, great. No, that's good.
So you'll probably want.
Oh, here, now it's starting to. You want to wait till you start to hear it sizzle a
like
little
this.
bit before you put the egg in.
Get one of these
Oh,
later
okay.
if it gets too hot,
Yeah, thank you.
or you can put this on there.
Oh yeah, this is a great idea.
There you go.
That's great. And of course, if you're doing this with children, you want to supervise the children around the
Right.
oven, as always.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hot pans.
Yeah. My mom was typically with me when I was making this as a child. Okay, so you can hear it sizzling. Hear it?
Yep.
Right, and then you just crack the egg. And you put the egg in the hole in the bread.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do the other one. Ah, that's what we want to hear.
Yes.
Nice sizzle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice sizzle sound. Do you have a plastic spatula? Or
Plastic.
I'm sure if you wanted to use this metal one on
I
here.
have wood.
Oh yes, that would be.
This one.
Let's try this one. Alright, so then I'm going to flip over the little pieces of bread. They get lightly brown on either side.
Okay.
And then depending on how you like your eggs, you might like them over easy or you might like them cooked a little bit harder. You then take it and then you flip. And then you flip the other one. Ah! There we go.
All right.
I don't know if you guys can see that at all. And then, an idea of what you can do once it's almost done. There's a couple different ideas. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll slice up tomatoes and I'll put tomatoes on top of them and I just let the tomato heat a little bit while it's on top of the bread. But another thing I like to do is I like to put shredded cheese on it. So I'll just sprinkle a little shredded cheese on either one of them. And you're right, now it's getting hot, which is great. And then the cheese will start to melt. And they're just about done. And I realized, let me grab a plate.
Oh, that's what I put the other one there.
What?
Oh, bigger plate.
Yeah. I'll let the cheese melt a little bit. You can see there.
Yeah.
Now these are nice and browned, and the cheese is starting to melt. Okay. And then you put it on your plate. And then you have the extra pieces, which is always nice for scooping up any extra egg yolk. And then here is a wonderful breakfast of egg in the hole in the bread.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. That was really wonderful, the breakfast that you made.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't recall ever having that before, even though when I mentioned it to my mother a while back, she was like, oh yeah, I remember those, but I don't remember her making them, so yeah.
Maybe, do you think maybe she made them and you just ate them, or?
It's possible.
Okay,
you know.
all right, yeah, yeah.
You don't remember everything from your childhood. But,
No, this
you
is
know,
true. Yeah.
right. So, for lunch, what I
Okay.
was thinking of doing is making English muffin pizzas, which
Okay.
is something that not only did I make as a kid, but even when I went to college, that was something I'd make like a bunch of them too. So,
Oh, yeah.
because it's real simple to do, and it's pizza, so you know what kid doesn't like pizza?
Sure.
And then you can just cook it in the microwave or the oven, depending on what you have available. So yeah, college microwave has made it real easy.
Yeah.
So
That sounds great. That sounds really
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
and it's it's really easy for a kid to do. So what you'll need is some English muffins and some mozzarella cheese and some pizza sauce. That's the basic of what you really need. And then if you want any toppings on it, it'll be whatever toppings you want. Normally like to have on your pizza. When I was a kid, I would just use pepperoni. So, if I'm doing it now, I'll probably cut up in some onion or mushrooms or bell pepper.
Yeah, green pepper sounds really good.
Yeah,
That'd be
right.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but as a kid, yes, it was just pepperoni.
Yeah.
So,
Which, by the way, that's what I get when I go to pizza places.
Yeah.
I love the classic pepperoni.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, especially when it curls up and it has
Totally
like the
crispy.
pool of grease in it.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
It.
I know. My body doesn't like it anymore, but
I hear you. Yeah.
it's
Our
definitely.
taste buds still like
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
So one of the things you'll want to do for the English muffins is having them pre-cut, because one thing I remember for my kids, whenever they have to cut the English muffin, they always get it wrong, or they get all upset that it doesn't come out right or whatever. So it's easier to just have them pre-cut, which is what these are. And you can even break it apart with your hands. You don't even need a knife necessarily.
Here, I'm gonna show it out like that a little bit more.
Just like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
you don't even really need a knife, although I have one there. And then you just lay them out on the plate. And see if I can do the same for this one.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And so then the next thing you need is the sauce, which you can either you can get prefabricated, like stuff in a tube or whatever. They sell them at the store.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can make your own sauce, which nowadays is something that I would do. Or you can use, like back when I was a kid, we would use leftover spaghetti sauce. That's the sauce.
Oh yeah.
So,
That's a great idea. I didn't
yeah.
know that. Yeah.
That's what's so great about the spaghetti sauce. You use it for so many different things.
Yeah.
Right. So,
So you don't
Or-
toast the English muffins first?
No.
You just do. Oh, okay. All right.
Not as a kid, I
Okay.
didn't care.
Sure.
As an
Great.
adult, I'd do things differently as an adult.
I see.
So,
But
but
as
as
a
a kid,
kid, yeah.
this is how we're showing it as a kid.
Okay.
So you just leave them just like that, and then I have some sauce that I have in a jar here that I'm going to put over the top of the English muffins. It's just like making a pizza. You have your bread. Put the sauce on, and however much you want. Sometimes I overdo it, in which case then you move some to the next one. And once that's done, then you put the cheese on, and then you put your toppings on. It's just like making a pizza. I'm sure if you've ever made a pizza before, that's just how simple it is.
So what's interesting though is you're talking about putting the cheese on first and then the toppings.
Right.
I put the toppings on first and then the cheese. So everyone's
Right.
kind of different, you know.
Right,
everyone has
right.
Their
Well,
own
that's
way.
just it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a kid, that's a good point to make.
Yeah.
That as a kid, that's what I would do. But as I've gotten older, what I like to do is I'll put on a layer of like a little bit of cheese, then put the toppings on, and then put cheese over the whole.
Ah, yeah. Double
So
the
then
cheese.
yeah, right. I like lots of cheese on mine, but What it does is it keeps the toppings on the pizza, so they don't. It's one thing I hate is I get a pizza and it doesn't have the cheese over the toppings, and then they all fall off as you pick up the pizza, and which if you put the cheese over the toppings, they don't fall off. So
Okay.
that's what I'm gonna do.
So what kind of cheese do you have?
Oh, this is mozzarella cheese. So sprinkle a little bit on each one. And you can be as messy or neat as you want to be.
I love mozzarella cheese.
Yeah.
My family's Italian, so it's like
Okay.
mozzarella.
Yeah.
Love it.
Then put on some pepperoni. Take out in the bag.
Do you need scissors? No.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
it.
You never know some of these packages.
Yeah,
they get
right,
really
yeah.
difficult. You need those scissors, you know.
So you just put some pepperoni on it. However much you want. Since the
How easy is this for a kid to make? So much
it's
fun.
so easy.
Yeah.
And it's fun because they're
Yeah.
putting it together, and
Exactly.
it's not. It doesn't make a big mess like if you're having to use flour and eggs and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
So now that I put those on, then I put some more cheese over the top of all that, so the pepperoni stays put. You don't want to put too much on because it ends up taking longer to cook if you put too much on it, and then the whole thing gets real soggy.
Too much cheese or too much sauce makes it soggy?
Too much cheese.
Too much cheese.
Because when you're doing it in the microwave,
Yeah.
it's just the effect of the bread in the microwave.
Right.
So,
Yeah. There we go. So you can see that.
so
Yeah.
there's that. And then you put it in the microwave for, depending on how many you have on the plate, if you just have one English muffin, then it's just 1 minute. If there's two, it's 2 minutes. If there's three, that's 3 minutes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. The more you put on there,
Yeah.
the longer you have to put it in there.
Which that's kind of fun for kids too, like doing sort
Right.
of a math thing, right?
Right,
You know, it's
right.
like one English muffin, 1 minute,
Right.
2 minutes. That's pretty
There's
neat.
probably
Yeah.
it might be a curve like not logarithmic, but anyway, it's not linear. I guess what I'm getting at. I think
Sure.
It just seems that way.
Yeah.
At the start.
Yeah.
Because I mean, who's gonna put 15 of these in the microwave at once?
Right, yeah, but just
Right.
for the first few. It's
Okay.
keep it simple for kids.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
So you put it in the microwave.
So I'm guessing 4 minutes.
No, 2 minutes. Which you just do start.
All right, I think it's done.
You think it's done?
I
Okay,
do.
it's now
Think so.
that's done.
Yeah.
Take it out of the microwave. The plate might be hot.
Oh, I can smell it.
Then there
You
you
can
go.
smell the pepperoni.
Out the cheese.
Oh, wow.
And then you just eat it like a pizza.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's the easy kid way of doing it. The adult way would be to put the oven on 350, kind of make them the same way, but with whatever toppings you want, but then bake it in the oven for 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then they come out crispy with the cheese all browned and everything else.
Yes, yeah. With the crust a little bit
With the
crunchier.
crust crunchier, yeah.
Yeah. But for a kid,
For a kid,
children,
this is easy, yeah.
Yes.
And
Wonderful.
it's fun for them.
Yeah.
Right. So, Jennifer, you have a dessert that you want to make that you used to make as a kid?
Yes. So I used to make this dish called pizza frite, which I learned actually is a name that my family made up. I didn't know that at the time when I was a child.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
it was I thought it was an Italian word
Oh, right,
for this
right.
dessert, pizza frite. But I come to learn that actually it's a name that was just sort of made up, and I guess it stuck
Oh, okay.
throughout my childhood.
Yeah.
So I know pizza frite.
Right.
Anyway, so this dessert is what you need a can of biscuits.
Okay.
So, you can get like the Pillsbury can of biscuits or any brand. You can use whatever brand you want,
Right.
different biscuits. You also need some vegetable oil. And then what I like to do is, this is pretty much sort of a fried dough kind of experience. But what's so great about it for kids in making this is we get to pull the dough.
Oh, okay.
And I'll show you. It's really fun.
Right.
And so then afterwards, after we fry the dough, then we're going to sprinkle it with some cinnamon and sugar. So, and there's other ideas of what you can do to actually put on top of the fried dough. But for today, we're going to do cinnamon and sugar. So yeah, okay, so the first thing is you're going to open up the biscuits. And sometimes you need a spoon. It'll say press on the seal, right?
Right.
And this is kind of the fun part.
Right.
So I'm wondering if my nails will do it. Yeah, there we go. Woo! Nice. Oh, these are nice ones.
Yeah, okay.
So, okay.
Is there anything you want me to do? Or?
Yes, in 1 second I'm going to show you
Alright.
what we're going to want to do. So you pull out all these biscuits, and I'm just going to put this over here.
Alright.
And then, so then you take a biscuit, and then what you do is you stretch it, and you pull it, and stretch it out.
Kind of like you're doing a pizza?
Kind of like you're doing a pizza, yeah. And so these are breaking apart a lot more than...
Well, I'm squeezing it and then
Yeah.
pulling like I would a pizza dough.
Oh, okay. That's, yeah.
And then
That's nice. And then if you kind of want to make them sort of longer, too. And so then typically what's really fun is you can have, if you have children or, whatever,
Oh, right.
like everyone can make their own sort of shape.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Like, make a cat shape or a dog.
Yeah, you can make some sort of shape. I kind of like to do like a long
I guess this
shape.
will be a flying saucer.
There you go. That sounds good. So, yeah, and then you can kind of make a donut shape. I do remember now, actually, my mom at one point, I think she did sort of make donuts out of them where she would punch a hole in the middle of it.
Okay, yeah.
But I always like to kind of like this, like pull kind of
Right.
something like that.
Gee.
Make some different shape ones. I know, but then sometimes they break apart,
Right.
and that's okay too. And that's the fun part, right?
I was trying to see how much tension it can take before it breaks, and if you
Sure.
can keep it from engineer talking, right?
Yeah. I don't know if kids are thinking that much.
Yeah, no, I don't think. Yeah, I wasn't thinking that when I was a kid.
All right, and then so once you make all those shapes, then what you want to do is you want to get your oil really, really hot, and I use vegetable oil. I know everyone is much more health conscious these days than when I was a child, but I just thought for today, I still want to use the vegetable oil because it works really well as far as frying.
Oh, okay.
So
how would it change it if we did olive oil or like an almond oil or?
I don't think you would want to use those. I don't know much about those oils, but because you need a lot of oil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if they would get to that temperature. I don't really know. You could experiment and try.
Right. Okay.
So, but I like to use a lot of oil and fry it.
Right.
So, yeah. But,
Great.
Okay. Okay, so you definitely want to put enough oil in the pan so that the bottom is completely covered, probably about 1/4 of an inch. And I always like to take a little dough and drop it in to see if it's working, and sure enough. So again, here we go. We're going to take our dough and stretch it out a little bit and then drop it in like so. And here's another piece. And they cook pretty fast. So this is also something that, and then you just flip it over. Pizza frites. They cook really fast, especially if your oil is hot. And so, of course, doing this with children, you'll definitely want to do this with a parent because you do have some hot oil.
Right.
But I used to do it with my dad.
Okay.
So, and then you just take it out. And I'd like to put it over on a couple layers of paper towels
All right.
because then that drains the oil as such. I'm just going to do a few more. See if the oil is still kind of hot here. Yep, there we go.
So when you put the sugary goodness on.
When?
Yeah.
Once that all the oil is drained
Oh, okay.
from there.
All right.
So, and I'm just going to do a few more here. But you can see how quickly it cooks,
Right.
which is nice.
Yeah. So you're not waiting 10 minutes for your dessert.
Right, which is perfect for kids, right? They don't want to wait for dessert.
Right.
They do not. Oop, this one kind of broke. Let's see, we could do this one, we can kind of just do a circle.
I like how that one has a handhold.
Yeah, totally. Now, I know that at fairs, they talk about elephant ears.
Right.
You ever been to a fair and you can go get the dough,
Oh, yeah,
the fried
right,
dough,
right,
elephant
yeah.
ear?
Right.
So it's it's sort of a
The
take
same
on
thing,
that.
yeah.
And we'll do this last one here. I'm going to scoot that over. Put that one in. And if you have tongs, they definitely work the best.
Oh, okay.
But you see how they puff up so nice and
Right.
fluffy?
Yeah.
So you can use a bunch of different toppings on this, as I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
What my family likes to do is we like to sprinkle cinnamon sugar on it,
Right.
and a lot of cinnamon sugar. So I'm just going to show you here. So we go like this, and we just cover it with lots and lots of cinnamon sugar,
Okay.
which is so yummy. Look how yummy this is.
Yeah, right.
Ah, what a great dessert
kids
to make
love
with
sugar.
kids. Mm-hmm. Yes. Another idea for a topping is you could do powdered sugar.
Oh, okay.
You could do Hershey syrup or some sort of chocolate syrup, and or you can drizzle honey on
Oh,
it as
okay.
well. And it just makes just a really fantastic kids dessert, and they have so much fun making it too.
Yeah, right. That
Yeah.
looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that was wonderful, making all those childhood recipes and food that we've remembered from our childhood.
Yeah, totally. It was
Yeah,
really great.
yeah.
I loved your pizzas, your pepperoni pizzas.
Great, yeah. I loved your the eggs in a hole in a bread
Yeah.
and the pizza frite. That
Pizza
was
frites. Pizza frites.
great. Right. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So if any of you out there happen to have recipes that you would like, that you recall from your childhood, you can put them in on our Facebook page to the link on the screen.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about
Yeah,
that.
I'd love to hear about more, because we were trying to think, gee, what other stuff, and we're having a hard time coming up with other things that we remember doing. So yeah, if you could send in, or just put in a recipe or two, or something that you remember making as a kid, that'd be great. And also, if you want to watch prior episodes of Food for Thought, you can get to the YouTube channel off of the Thurston Community Media's website page.
Yeah.
And I hope you have a great day.
Yeah. See you next time. And sugar. So, the first thing you want to do is you want to open up your can of biscuits. So, hopefully.